Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description. Also, check out the website that is linked down in the description. But in today's video, I will be doing something that I have been doing monthly now, and that is the 2020 election according to the polls. Now, this is my version of it for September, and let's get right into it. So first, I have the states that don't have any polling data. This includes 37 electoral votes worth for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and 13 electoral votes worth for Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So we'll just be going down the list of all of these states and seeing how that translates onto the national map on the AppMS map. So Alabama obviously is going to be a safe state. It has been a safe state for quite a while for the Republican Party now. Alaska doesn't have an average, but the most recent polling data we have does actually show that it's not a safe victory for Donald Trump. So I actually will be putting this at a likely margin of victory because the most recent polling data we have has been +6. But you could easily put this in a lean margin, to be honest. But I will narrowly put it in the likely margin. But based on the polls, it could easily be a lean margin as well. Arizona does have a polling average, and it has Joe Biden up 4.7 percentage points, which actually puts that in a lean margin of victory for Joe Biden. Arkansas, we had that one poll that put it at +2 for for Donald Trump. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't believe that poll at all. But that is what the polling data shows, and so that is how it's going to be portrayed on the map. 31.6% lead for Joe Biden in California, which is bigger than Hillary Clinton's lead, and that's something to note. Joe Biden will gain in a lot of this popular vote totals in states like California, Texas, New York, which won't necessarily help him electorally, but it will help him with the popular vote. Colorado does have it at a safe margin of victory for Joe Biden as well. Connecticut, another state where you'd expect it to be a safe margin, obviously. Another state, Delaware, Joe Biden's home state, where we have not had many recent polls, but we did have one poll from PPP showing it by a safe margin, which is pretty much what you would expect. As well as the state of Florida, which does narrowly have Joe Biden up by 2.7% at the moment, which would actually be a lean margin of victory, which would be the biggest margin in the state of Florida, the presidential race since 2004, I believe. The state of Georgia has Donald Trump up by 1.4 percentage points, which would be a tilt margin of victory, which I could actually see that, to be honest. It is a sign of the trends that you're seeing in the state, and Georgia polls have historically been quite accurate. Hawaii, which is, one of the most blue states in the union, going by 27 points, which is not as much as many people may think. Indiana, Mike Pence's home state, is going to go by a safe margin according to the polls. That is what you might expect. It has been trending red for quite a while now. Iowa actually only has Trump up by 1.6 percentage points, which would put that in the tilt margin there. I don't think it'll be that close, but I do believe it will be closer than 2016. Kansas actually only has it up by a likely margin because I guess we had some of these polls related to the Senate. You had +7 in Survey USA, +7 in PPP, +12 in Civics, which I guess pushes that down into the likely margin. Kentucky has Trump up by 16.1, which is a lot less than 2016, but it does still show it by a safe margin. Also, the state of Louisiana, we had a Trafalgar poll showing it up by +16, and also another poll showing it up by +7, but I'm going to put that in the safe column there for the Donald Trump column. In Maine, the popular vote has Joe Biden barely up under by a safe margin, up 9.9 percentage points. It was 10 percentage points in the margins before, but it is 9.9 percentage points right there. In Maine's first congressional district, Joe Biden is obviously going to be up by safe margin there. Actually, not Maine's second, but Maine's first district, Joe Biden is going to be up by a safe margin. In Maine's second district, we've actually had some very conflicting polling data. We had +1 for Biden, +1 for Trump, and if we want to even go back here, we had +3 for Biden. So I'm actually going to put this at tilt Biden in Maine's second district, which would be a huge trend from what it was in 2016. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case with what happens, but that is what the polling data shows nonetheless. Maryland, another state that is safe and very, very safe Democrat due to the areas near DC. The Baltimore area, Massachusetts, another one of those states where Joe Biden is expected to gain on Hillary Clinton, helping him a lot in the popular vote total, but not necessarily electorally because it's already a safe blue state. Michigan has Joe Biden up by 6.7 percentage points, which would be quite hard for Donald Trump to overcome because that pushes it into the likely column there. Minnesota, another state which actually has Joe Biden up by less than he does in the state of Michigan, partially I guess due to that the Emerson poll and the Trafalgar Group poll, but regardless, it is a likely margin of victory there. The next state is the state of Mississippi, which actually only has Trump by 12.3 percentage points, which would be down 5 percentage points from 2016 when he won by 17, but doesn't really matter regardless. Missouri actually only has Trump up by 6.4 percentage points, which would make that a likely margin of victory due to some polls. I guess we had a Trafalgar Group poll showing Trump only up by 11. We had a YouGov poll showing Trump up by 7, but don't necessarily trust those polls, but I will put it on the map based on that. Montana, another state that is very swingy state. You know, Joe Biden and Barack Obama came very close to winning this state in 2008. Then it was very red in 2012, very red in 2016. But Democrats have elected Montana has elected Democratic senators in 5 out of the 6 last elections and haven't elected Republican senators since 2000. So they have elected Democrats before. Not saying that Montana is going to be close because it's not going to be close. I don't think it's going to be within 10 points at all. But it could be a little bit closer compared to what the result was in 2016. Nebraska, we don't have anything from the 3rd district in Nebraska at large, but Nebraska's 1st district, we did have a poll that showed that Trump was only up by 2 percentage points in Nebraska's 1st district, which is pretty insane, to be honest. And Nebraska's 2nd district does have Biden up by, a likely to a safe margin. I'm going to put that in the likely margin. I don't think that's what's going to, the actual result's going to be, but that is what the data does show. The state of Nevada, Joe Biden is up by 6.5 percentage points. Polls in Nevada have, consistently overrepresented or overestimated Republicans. So don't be surprised if Joe Biden wins Nevada by even more than what the polls are showing. The state of New Hampshire shows also Biden is up by a likely margin, 8.2 percentage points. If you look at 2016, the polls were very accurate in the state of New Hampshire. So Donald Trump's chances in New Hampshire are not looking too good based on the polls right now. New Jersey, another one of those states, which will be 5 points more blue than last time, but again, safe margin regardless. New Mexico, we had a recent poll yesterday showing Biden up by 15 points, which I guess pushes the margin up by quite a bit. Biden is now up by 13.1 percentage points, which makes that another safe margin state. Even my predictions, I may put it at a safe margin. New York, Biden plus 26.9 percentage points. That's an improvement on Hillary Clinton's margin, who is even the senator in the state. Also an improvement on Barack Obama's margins. So again, that's racking up those popular vote totals. North Carolina, another state where Joe Biden's been in the lead for quite a while now. I've put it in the tilt Republican column for a little bit, but the polls do show that Joe Biden is still leading. But we had a similar case of that earlier on in North Carolina in 2016, but that does show that Joe Biden would win by a tilt margin of victory in the state of North Carolina. North Dakota, we don't have any polls. Doesn't really matter. It's a safe state regardless. The state of Ohio is next, which actually shows Trump up by 1.8 percentage points, but Joe Biden was actually up for quite a while, but we did have some morning console polls, things like that, which are included, showing Trump up by 5 percentage points, so that would be a tilt margin victory, a lot closer than 2016. I don't necessarily believe those polls that saying that it's going to be that close, but that is what the polls do show from the state of Ohio, a state that is trending red overall. Oklahoma, one of the most red states in the union, obviously is going to show Trump up by that much. Pennsylvania, which if you saw my video yesterday, is probably going to be the tipping point, does show Biden up by 4.5 percentage points, which would be a lean margin on the cusp of being a likely margin. The next state, the state of South Carolina, a state that Donald Trump won by 13 percentage points in 2016, is showing Trump leading by 7 percentage points. Partially, we've had some more polls there, I guess, due to the Senate race that is there, but does show it to be a likely margin, which again, I don't necessarily believe it'll be that close, but I do believe it may be a little bit closer. Tennessee as well, Joe Biden barely down by a safe margin, which would be a lot closer than 2016. Texas, another one of those states where Donald Trump is actually right now only up by 1 percentage point. Joe Biden was actually up by a little bit at the beginning of August. He is now down 1.5 or actually 0.5% or 1 percentage point to Donald Trump. That would make it a tilt margin of victory. Now, getting into these home stretch here, we have about 5 more states. First, the state of Utah, a state with a lot of third-party voters in 2016, does show that that Joe Biden is going to lose by a safe margin, but pretty close comparing it to what it was in 2016 in terms of, the Evan McConnell, things like that. Virginia also shown to be a safe margin. This is a state that has trended towards the Democrats quite fast over time. Washington, another state that is going to be safe towards the Democrats. You can see Joe Biden has already surpassed the 270 vote threshold by quite a lot. West Virginia, easily could be the most red state in the union this year. That is going to be very safe. The trend there has been insane. And then finally, the state of Wisconsin does show Joe Biden up by 7.1 percentage points there. And obviously in 2016, they did show a similar thing. We've seen many polls showing Joe Biden is up by quite a big margin in the state of Wisconsin, which would be a likely margin there. So this is the 2020 election map according to the polling data. Now, Joe Biden has 335 electoral votes. Donald Trump has 203 electoral votes. Many of these states are very wonky. Arkansas is not a lean margin. Missouri is not a likely margin. Ohio is probably on a tilt margin. And Michigan, Wisconsin are probably not likely margins. And that is what the polling data shows. Before you just see this map and say, oh, this is my prediction. This is not my prediction. This is based entirely off the polling data. Kind of pointing out that the polling data is not necessarily accurate, and you have to take some of it with a grain of salt. But this is what the polling data does show regardless. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord that is linked down in the description. So again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.